Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, good morning, my beautiful coffee beans. It is Tuesday. It is almost Thanksgiving, and we're going to have a gobble, gobble good time. channel on these streets, especially as we're approaching Thanksgiving. We are all ready for our turkey. Get in our belly. Get in our belly. I'm Bullhorn Betty. We cover true crime. We're covering the case of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. I got this up. I didn't mean to. I was testing the system. Guys, we might have some technical issues this morning. I'm unsure. It drives me nuts when the audio echoes in my ear, especially if it's not echoing for you. So I tested the system. I recorded it. It looks like it's making me bounce around through audio settings. Sometimes I've got to have both audio and input and output set. Sometimes I have to have the monitor off. I can't figure out what the difference is. I don't understand why sometimes it works this setting and sometimes it doesn't, but that's what I'm dealing with. And it drives me nuts to hear the echo. Okay, I can't pay attention when I've got echo in my ear, even though you guys can hear it perfectly. I cannot. So I've taken the ham out of the freezer. The ham is officially in the refrigerator. I did that yesterday. Hopefully all of you guys, I dislike turkey myself. That means you just haven't had it. You haven't had it prepared correctly. In Vision, we have to prepare your turkey correctly. My best friend, she used to do a smoked turkey, a fried turkey, and a baked turkey, okay? So we've got peanut oil. I know we got a turkey breast. We got, oh my gosh, a fried turkey breast. Gee, that is so good. So stinking good. So stinking good. You just haven't had it the right way. But that's okay. I'm bringing the ham. My ham is caramel salted ham, okay? It's kind of like a honey ham, but it's not. It's better because it's got caramel salt on it, okay? So I'm bringing the ham. I got the ham. Laura's got the turkey. You know, everybody else, I'm going over there to stay with her. I'm like, do you want me over the night before? Do you want me to just come over after my live is done? I think we're going to do a Thanksgiving morning live at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm going to go about my day. I'm going to get over to Laura's house so she's not stuck doing everything herself. I'll be there working right alongside of my best friend, which I enjoy doing. I never like leaving everything for her. But either way, that's kind of the plans. I don't know what your plans are. Put your plans in the chat. Don't forget to hit the like button. As you hit that like button, come back in. Tell us where you're from. Tell us what the temperature is. And let's get a radar of the country. Let everybody know. I'm warm, okay? I'm in Florida. It's warmed up. Usually by Thanksgiving, our Thanksgiving is usually colder than our Christmas. It appears we're going to have a hot Thanksgiving, which means we might have a cold Christmas, So I'm looking at the positivity of a warm Thanksgiving. I just don't want a warm Thanksgiving and a warm Christmas because that kind of sucks, and it does happen. But I can't eat turkey sandwiches with you knowing stuffing, mayonnaise, lettuce, cranberry, all the stuffing from Thanksgiving. Just don't eat turkey on Thanksgiving. I try. I don't think that's going to work. I think everybody's going to be eating some turkey now. Come on. Throw me the drumstick, okay? Throw me the drumstick. I'll go back to the 1800s, all right? I'll wear my garb, okay? Throw me the turkey drumstick. Big old thing. Anyways, guys, you guys have a great day. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week so far. I know you guys are probably getting a little stressed, anxious, whatever the case may be, but you will get through it. And then right around the corner is, of course, Christmas, right? And we're all like freaking, arguing with the country, trying to get our money back from the wasteful spending so we can actually have a decent Christmas. Are we going to have a decent Christmas? Are we not going to have a decent Christmas? I really, truly don't know. I know I'm prepared, okay? The house is lit. It's more than I've done for the last it's more than I've done for the last I don't know, 2 or 3 years. So I'm happy. I walk outside and have my cup of coffee while I look at my lights. Okay. So it gets me out of the house first thing in the morning to get some fresh air. That's the way I look at it, right? Positivity. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get jumping into the case of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. First, I'm just going to go ahead and play for you the intro, which again, I don't know what the hell happened here, but I've got some issues here. It's not lined up like it's supposed to be. This is our share screen channel. See, we're supposed to be doing something like that. Okay. So now we're going to play. Today we're covering the case of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Lilly and Jack Sullivan are brother and sister. Lilly is 6 years old and Jack is 4 years old. They disappeared from their trailer in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, Canada.
We were searching. We covered everywhere possible. Even in the first day we did. Even with me running through the woods, I was ahead of the helicopters and ahead of the drones and stuff like that. Screaming as loud as I can, and just until my throat hurt. Running through water that was up to my waist. And as soon as I got back, I wasn't allowed back in the woods until a man dressed in a military outfit said I could go back into the woods.
They've been missing since May 2nd around 10 a.m. when their mother reported them missing. The last time she had stated she saw them or heard from them is around 8 a.m.
What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call.
This has sparked much controversy in Canada as well as the United States. Many people are tuned into this case, and here is what we know. We know that Malehya Brooks-Murray, the two children's mother, was at the scene when law enforcement got there. She stayed the night in the trailer, and the next day, on May 3rd, she had a few interviews, and then they had a briefing about her children where she abruptly left, got into an ambulance, and took off with her mother. She never was seen again. Now, we have heard that she did get her baby, Meadow. Meadow is with her mother. Although she left her car at a different location, it had been towed to her mother's home. Daniel Martell kind of took the role in media. He's the lead that everybody went to from media to get information about what was going on in the case, at least about what he could share with them.
The last few days have been very stressful. I mean, ever since the Friday morning, when we noticed that the children were gone. Immediately jumped in the vehicle, surveyed all the areas, many dirt roads, many culverts as I could, and waited for the police to get there. I'm out here still searching, still fighting to try to find them. That's all I can do.
The message is still, if anyone knows anything?
If anybody knows anything, just come forward as soon as possible. Two little kids are still out there. I want to find them. That's really all I can do. Still searching every day. I'm waiting for information. I have to let them do a lot of their stuff with the aircrafts and everything else, and dogs and searchers. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be coordinated, and I can't just go running through the woods. I want to, but I just can't right now because the search is just so far out. That I've seen, they were at Lansdowne Lake, and they told me that they scoured the lake, divers, and sonared the lake, and there's no evidence at all. If they were in this area, would have found them. My family's still searching. I asked for that so early on, and there's not many places that do it in Canada, so they're flying somebody in. I think their side of the family doesn't believe me, and I just want to clear it up for everyone.
He seemed to be very personable, but he always wanted to emphasize his willingness to help, including his wanting to take a polygraph test, which he says he received favorable results for.
I know it would be a big help in the case and kind of narrow down maybe some of the speculations and just provide more evidence.
Now, Daniel Martell is kind of an unusual character. We don't know really how to take him. He works at the sawmill about once a week and has a family of 7, according to his latest interview, where he stated he went from a family of 7 and down to 1.
Going from a family of 7 to just me, I mean, I have nothing but time to just think. I haven't even got to see my own kids, not even Meadow yet.
But I'm still hopeful. I have supervised visits coming up that are granted by CPS.
But he worked at the sawmill only 1 day a week, and many people thought there is no possibility of that being enough income to support a family of 7. Now, Malehya's distance from the case, Malehya's priorities of changing her relationship status on Facebook and never really advocating for her children, and then shortly thereafter lawyering up, has been very, very suspicious and has a lot of red flags. Where are Lilly and Jack? Daniel Martell has been professing that he is innocent and has nothing to do with it. The children just wandered off. Unfortunately, the RCMP cannot find any evidence of that. And you're talking about 2 young children, 2 young, loud children, 6 and 4. There is no way, there's no evidence of where they would have wandered off to, especially in light that Jack has a pull-up on and Lilly has a backpack with strawberries on it. Certainly at this point, one of those items would be left out there, and they found nothing. So where does that leave us in this case? Well, according to Jim Hoskins, which is a former Nova Scotia detective, he states that he doesn't believe there's any way this could not be a criminal investigation. Law enforcement is just not sitting on their bums, twiddling their thumbs. They're out there, they're working this case. And if there's no evidence supporting that these children wandered off, then maybe something more nefarious is in play. He also stated that they do not give polygraph tests simply because somebody requests them. They use them as an investigative tool, that they're not really doing lie detector tests because they're not trying to find out if they're lying. And some of these things are psychological in nature. So let me know your thoughts. Do you believe Lilly and Jack wandered off? Are you now suspecting that it's possible that there was an abduction? Or do you truly believe there's something more that needs to be had with the mom and the stepfather? God bless each and every one of you. Until next time, please be safe.
So that is kind of the intro into this case. Oops. Okay, guys, sorry, I'm pushing on buttons. I'm definitely a button pusher back here, okay? So please forgive me. Please forgive me. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you. Thank you for coming and tuning into the Bullhorn Betty channel. I know we're gearing up for Thanksgiving. A lot of you guys may be off work at this point. Some of you guys may still be grudgingly having to go to work up until the day, causing you such anxiety trying to get all the stuff done for your loved ones. Many of you guys are going to have family and friends over, and then there's going to be some of you guys that are going to be lonely. Some of you guys are going to be sitting at home and you don't have any place to go. There are definitely some things that I would like to say about that. First and foremost, you're never alone. There's always somebody that you can be with. Whether it's a neighbor, there may be a neighbor down the road that's also going to be alone for the holidays. Maybe, partner with them and do something fun. There's always that. If you are, a little younger or you want to help out, maybe you're kind of like, me. It's one of those things where we love to be around family and friends, but if we're not, we're not. We're okay with that, but we still want to give back. Don't forget, there are a lot of soup kitchens out there. There are a lot of things that you can do to help the needy, to help people that are disadvantaged as you. I mean, think about it. You may be lonely, but you have a roof over your head and food in your mouth, and you've got a nice bed to go to sleep in. And even if it's not as comfortable as you would like, you've got more than a lot of other people have. So if you're ever lonely or you're twiddling your thumbs on a holiday, there are so many things that you could be doing with your time that could make you feel a lot better and make other people feel a lot better as well. So just keep those things in mind, especially if you are lonely this year. You don't need to be, right? You don't need to be. You can volunteer somewhere and be around a lot of lovely people and meet new friends to start building relationships with and doing things with, so you're never alone again. I definitely recommend volunteering. As many of you guys know, personally speaking, I like to volunteer. I think that feeding somebody that is disadvantaged is the most humbling experience you can have, because a lot of us take everything that we have for granted. Everything. From the house we live to the cars we drive to the amount of food that we can have in our house. We take a lot for granted, and we don't look at the other people that are struggling out there, that are living on the streets. And so if you are lonely this year for Thanksgiving or Christmas, maybe that's a calling for you to reach out and be a part of maybe a soup kitchen or an advocacy group that helps people or disadvantaged people, or get involved with the church over the Christmas season to help bring presents to the folks that don't have a whole lot. Those type of things inspire people to do better. It creates almost this beast within of goodness. Like it feels good to do good. And the more that you do, the more you're inspired to do even more. It's just an amazing situation. I personally got involved with advocacy and, helping out the disadvantaged years ago. And I still do it to this day because it's something that makes me feel good as well. Seeing people smiling, seeing people thankful, seeing people appreciate. We take so much for granted, and I just like to give back, and hopefully maybe some of you guys will as well. This year I will not be giving back. I will not be working in a soup kitchen or anything. I have done it in the past. But I will be with friends and family this year. So if you are not, it'd be a great opportunity for you. So anyways, it's nice to see you, Eeyore. Tabitha, all up in the house this morning. Great to have you ladies. Phil, Libby, good morning. Ooh, Libby turned green. It's nice to see you. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. It's nice to see you. Our beautiful Melanie is up in the house. It's nice to see you. She's always sending her love, sending love to you, BHB, and all the coffee beans here on your channel. Amen to that. Amen to that. Thank you so much for your love and your support. We got Tangled Cords up in the house. SJ from across the pond. It's nice to see you, my love. Jessica, good morning. Peggy, it's nice to see you. Envision, good morning. It's nice to have you here, even though you're a non-turkey eating coffee bean. That's okay. Hopefully you like caffeine. It's kind of a requirement here. We don't care how you get your caffeine. It can be tea, it can be soda, it can be coffee, i.e. the coffee club. We're not partial on that. It's a requirement. If you're anti-caffeine, I don't know what the hell you're doing here. No. It is a true crime channel, so that really is the only requirement. Okay, but it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. Donna, good morning, love bug. Don't forget, it is eggnog and peppermint mocha season. So if you haven't gotten your eggnog or your peppermint mocha, you're really missing out. You're really missing out if you don't like peppermint or mocha or eggnog. Well, you're the redheaded stepchild, okay? We're just gonna... You have been labeled, okay? You have been labeled. You're just the redheaded stepchild. We'll deal with you. We'll deal with you, but we don't want to. You're a little different, okay? All right, honey? We're not speaking specifically to Sonia, but, we might be speaking to Sonia just a little bit. I'm just saying. I fell asleep before touch. I was asleep last night at 8. I woke up at 10, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I go pee and go back to bed. I don't like that when I'm sitting there and I just fall asleep. I'm working, I'm researching. I just work too much. I sit and work and read all day long to the point that my neck hurts because I'm always in my phone. I don't sit here on the computer. I got a bad back, so I can't sit for too many hours at a time. I mean, I'll do what I can, but I'm usually on my cell phone and I'm always looking down on my cell phone working. And so it's just a long story, but yeah. Anyways, if you guys, it is Christmas time, guys, and I'm gonna throw this out there. Sonia, she's been making shirts ever since I can remember. She does a lot of cute little things for the coffee club. So if you guys like coffee club swag, reach out to her. She can get you matching shirts, coffee cups, hats, you know, the whole kit and caboodle. You could be just having a lovely matching set. But she does so much more than just the Bullhorn Betty channel. Do you have that favorite saying? Do you like that thing? Like, she just gave me a cup. I'm on Stay Self-Governed Bro, which is Twitch's boyfriend's channel on Twitch. So I really appreciate the coffee cup. But Sonia sent me a coffee cup, you know, Christ offering forgiveness for everyone everywhere. There's a shirt that goes with that too. So even if you had a special saying, like you and your best friend or you and your daughter or son have this saying, or, you know, whatever, she can put that on a shirt and make a coffee cup. You can have this. It's just nice. And it's going to be a great Christmas gift, and a very affordable Christmas gift at that. And you're helping missing people, and you're helping get people's missing flyers out further, because she posts all the people missing on your boxes, so those UPS and FedEx drivers are forced to see the faces. You know, they're not just on the inside of your box, they're on the outside of your box too. So you're really helping spread awareness with every single purchase from Sonia. If you are a part of the true crime genre, we always try to do just a little bit to give back, and what a winner chicken dinner this is. You help support a small business. You're also raising awareness literally around this country, and you're getting something for your money. So it's all around just a good, and it's a good quality product. It's not cheap products either, okay? I just want to let you know. You guys see me wearing the stuff. You guys have seen me wearing her shirts for literally years, right? Drinking out of coffee cups for quite some time. It's good quality stuff. I'm lazy, so the stuff goes through the dishwasher. Still looks great, doesn't it? So we got good quality stuff here. All right. That's my little snippet for our beautiful Sonia. It's nice to have her on the team, and it's nice to always help a small business while they're raising awareness. I will always, any business model that helps raise awareness for the missing, you will always have a place to advertise on the Bullhorn Betty channel, okay? And why we might have low numbers, you know, during the holiday seasons, this channel packs quite the audience members, so you'll have a wide range of people to advertise in front of. But I will tell you that it comes with, you have to be an advocate for our missing people. We're not just partial to children. We are wanting to end home violence, domestic violence, and abuse of women and children. They're all also, we can't dismiss that, you know, domestic violence goes both ways. It is not just a one-sided thing. Majority of it is from men. The majority of it is from men. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Where does the majority of the violence come from? It's usually men hitting women. But we can't miss the small segment of women that also are very, very highly violent and very lethal. Over the years, once upon a time, it was very uncommon for women to be involved in homicides, okay? Back in the 50s and 60s, very, very, very rare for a woman to be involved in a homicide, okay? Men always kept women out of that, but as, you know, time goes on, more alpha females are, they're a little more emboldened for whatever reason, you know, and they think that they're badasses. They use their boldness for bad instead of good. And now we have a lot more women in prisons. We have women prisons now. We never once had to have women prisons, folks. I just want to bring this back to reality. Something happened with some of our women, and our women got a little too bold, and they thought that they were able to take people out. And some of these women are in jail. So we have to remember that women can be very, very violent, okay? And they can hurt men, and they can hurt men to death. And we have to remember, because I think there are a lot of men out there that suffer in silence, and I don't think that's fair either. I really don't. So I want to make sure that we also include them. But at the end of the day, the majority of it is men on women violence. Okay, a very small percent is women on male violence. Very, very, very small percent. But we want everybody to be happy and healthy. No crime, no violence. If you don't like what somebody's saying, walk away. If you don't like being around that person, don't be around that person. You have so much control over yourself in controlling who you're around, what you listen to, and everything else. There's literally no reason to be so angry that you want to commit homicide. Okay? If that's the case, then you're not controlling yourself enough. You're not removing yourself from the situation. I can tell you, I have been in a lot of precarious situations through my walk. My walk has not been a pretty walk whatsoever. And I can tell you the last thing I have ever wanted was ever, somebody to die or, to commit homicide or hurt somebody that bad. I've never even considered it. Right? If I had problems, I was one of those people that handled the stuff, kind of let's take it out back and deal with this like adults. No, items to come with, just body to body action here, okay? And that's kind of the way I was back in the day. Never once thought about weaponry, never once thought about anything like that. If you can take a punch, you should be able to. If you can give a punch, you should be able to take a punch. I'm sorry, I'm old fashioned. Okay, I don't believe that everybody that gets in a fight should be going to jail. I just don't. There is mutual combat out there, and I think that needs to be acknowledged all the way around. And there are children that choose to fight. I was a child that got into high school fights. I didn't go to jail because it's kids being kids. You got to grow up. You learn things. You have to express yourself in certain ways. I think it's normal. I think it's normal upbringing. I don't think it's normal to not learn the constraints you need to learn from that valuable lesson, right? You either kick somebody's ass or you got your ass kicked. It's still a valuable lesson. Okay? I'm just saying. You're never going to learn your strengths unless you're forced to them. Now, kids, they get black eyes, they do whatever, and parents are like, we don't want our children. I'm not saying that I think children should be out in the back, sweet, I don't think it should be, where we're betting on who's winning or something. But I think it's part of life, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, I just think that upbringing, getting into school, school ground fights and stuff, I truly believe it's just normal. I think it's just growth, learning boundaries. I think that everybody should be punished. Don't think I think that it should go, because I think it's part of the process, right? I think it's part of the process to learn control, to learn to learn to control yourself, to know what got you going and how that came out. But at the end of the day, typically those schoolyard fights are not explosions. There's not like somebody had a bad day and just exploded and decided to grab somebody walking by and just beat the crap out of them. These are people that had tiffs that said, hey, I'm going to meet you after school. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to meet you after school too. That's mutual, okay? And while parents do not like it, I don't like it either. Again, anti-violence, I still think it's normal. I still think, no matter how you look at it, I still think it's a normal process. I got into a fight when I was in school. I didn't like it. It was a growing experience for me. So I have to be real with myself. Was it a bad experience or a good experience? It was a bad experience in the fact that I got a scar. I've had a scar on my lip for the last 30 years from that, because I had braces. Don't ever get into a fight with braces. Me and my girlfriend, we didn't like each other, so we decided to meet each other after school. I don't know who won. I was bloodier, okay? Because again, I had braces and stuff, okay? It wasn't like I had braces. What do you do? Don't tell anybody, okay? We don't want anybody, thinking I'm a mean person or anything. So we're not going to tell the whole world about this story, okay, guys? So just try to keep it to yourself if at all possible. So anyways, I come home, my poor little lip looked like it went through a meat grinder, because it did. It's called braces. And, but it, again, it was an experience. We got into a fight. My parents, we got into a slap. I think she might've punched me. I don't know. These are middle school punches. It's not like a huge deal here. Okay. We're not talking about, life ending, stuff, but either way, it's one of those things. We became friends later down the road. We ended up splitting up, and going our separate ways down the road. She's been here my whole life. I've been here my whole life. I still run across her every now and again. I even interviewed her with her. I didn't get the job. In my 20s, I interviewed with her and I didn't get the job. I guess she still holds the grudge, but it doesn't matter. All I'm trying to simply say is that, there's a time and a place. I think kids doing things, it's growing experience as long as it's not something they're doing often, once or twice in the lifetime. I think it's a growth experience. Anything over than that is probably abusive. But it's just my opinion. Not that you guys, welcome my opinion or agree with my opinion. It's just, I truly believe it's a growth thing for kids. I think it's something that they learn their boundaries and stuff like that. And, you always think you want to fight until you get in a fight and you feel a little pain. And then you're like, let's be a little more diplomatic. Next time, let's talk it out. I didn't really like the way that felt. So maybe we'll be a little more diplomatic. I don't know. Anyways, getting back to what we're here for. We're here for Lilly and Jack Sullivan. If you guys don't know this case is of two children. They were 6 and 4 at the time they disappeared on May 2nd, 2025, just this year. Now, Jack has recently turned 5 years old. He's still missing. Law enforcement came out very, very early on in this case and basically told the whole world they believe the children are deceased, that they don't believe that the children could have survived the elements or the condition, the weather or the elements of the terrain and stuff like that. So they never believed that these children were abducted. Law enforcement just didn't buy into that. Up front, they just pretty much dismissed the whole idea that these children were abducted. Now, could they have been? Obviously, the children haven't been found. Nobody knows where these children are except whoever put them where they're at. There's a piece of me, I have to be honest, there is a piece of me that says, we never really evaluated the abduction theory very heavily, right? It was really dismissed very, very early on in this case. I think that is a problem for many people, the abduction theory. But I think the reason why it was dismissed, in all fairness, is if they were taken, then I know they really screwed Envision. I agree with that. If they were taken, then yeah, the RCMP probably really screwed up this case. I 100% agree with that because we were advised very early on that it's not the possibility. And I have to think that there was a reason that they didn't think it was a possibility, and we have to take into consideration the fact that there was a planted item. And I believe a couple planted items. Like I believe the boot prints were planted. And one of the boot prints that I felt were planted were right on the property where these kids disappeared. So again, I feel like this is, we look at the statistics, we know that it's got to be somebody these children know, like a mom, a dad, or a caregiver of some sort, like Janie or Daniel. Daniel's not their father. He is a partner to their mother. He's not biological to them. And they're very rambunctious children. And being very rambunctious children with somebody on math, it's not a good mixture, okay? It is not, especially when that person is coming down from math and doesn't have any more math to keep themselves up. It is not a pretty a situation. It's a very volatile. It may turn somebody very, very volatile. Coming down off of substances is a very volatile situation. The people are moody. They're cranky. It sounds like very early on, Daniel acknowledged and admitted to law enforcement that he was in fact on substances. And he was very, very upfront with them, from what my understanding early on in this case, very upfront with them about his substance abuse use. And, like he's always been trying to be overly helpful. And I think that this is going with it. And it's very problematic because, again, we have a household that has 3 young children in it and 3 adults. Any household where we hear there's 3 adults and 3 children, we're thinking, okay, the parents got this, right? Because very rarely do we have a parent per child that could be watching over a child, right? Usually it's mom, dad's at work, nobody else is at the house with them, and mom's responsible for all three of the kids. One person managing all three kids. And then when we hear the story of Jack and Lily having grandma on, or step-grandma on the property, stepdaddy on the property, mommy on the property, and baby sissy on the property, literally everybody is home. How the hell does two small children, one, get out of a home with three adults in it with nobody watching these kids? Exactly, Envision. You know what I'm saying here. You understand. Well, hello, Nicole. It's nice to see you, love. So how in the hell does this happen, right? How in the hell does this happen? It doesn't. This defies logic, folks. This whole story defies logic. That's why we keep going back to the parents. Even though we have literally zero evidence that the parents did anything with these children right now, just a whole bunch of speculation and some tidbits of evidence to support that, like the planted pink blanket, the torn pink blanket, right? That had to come from somebody in the house. And actually, it had to specifically come from the person that packed that bag. They said that was a 60-gallon trash bag. Do I have a 60-gallon trash? Hold on a second. Let's. All right. So I'm going to put this into perspective for you. This right here is a 42-gallon construction bag. Okay? You see that? Sorry, wrong way. You see how big that is? This is a 4. Okay? I could literally get into this construction bag. Me. Okay? Look at this. This construction bag goes up. Let me go forward. Okay, there it is. A construction bag. This is a 42-gallon construction bag. Okay, so you're talking about something that is about at least 4 feet tall. Okay, 4 feet tall. This is 42-gallon. He's saying he was using a 60-gallon construction bag. I don't know if it was 50. This is 42. It can fit just about my whole damn body in this bag. Okay. So this is what they said that they had filled to the rim with stuff. And that at the very bottom of this, let me get out of this. This whole thing filled. Now, mind you, you have a child, a baby with dirty diapers. Nobody's going to be sticking their hand in a bag like this without knowing what the hell is in the bag. Okay? And according to Daniel, there was a hole, a singular hole down at the bottom of the bag with one handprint going through, not multiple tears throughout the bag. One spot torn in the bag. And somebody reached in the bag, not knowing. This is how I know that somebody in that house did this. Because whoever packed this huge bag, look how big this is again, could take my whole body and put in it. We just put my whole body in this bag. Okay? A whole Betty. It holds a whole Betty. Okay? And this is a 42-gallon. Now, it's going to be very difficult for me to explain how somebody that wasn't part of this home could have found this bag in their garbage can, knew exactly where in the garbage can this pink blanket was, to rip the hole in, grab a piece of the blanket, tear the blanket, and then take it a kilometer away and plant it. This right here is the evidence. This right here tells me all I need to know about who it is. Whoever packed this bag is the one that ripped it and took the piece out of it. Because there's nobody else that would have known where specifically that pink blanket was in this big black bag. There's no possibility unless the person that put that pink blanket in there knew exactly where it was. That's why there was only one tear in the bag, not 2, not 3, because the person that tore this bag knew exactly what they were trying to take. They were trying to steal that pink blanket to go plant it. They knew where the pink blanket was in this bag because they were the one that packed it. Nobody that's not affiliated, that didn't know what was in this bag, is going to reach their hand in there and possibly put their hand in shit, okay? Baby shit. Nobody. Tell me who's going to do that. There's not one person out there that is willing to stick their hand in a black bag with a house full of babies and be scared or fearful that they're going to be pulling out a handful of poop or a dirty diaper. This is the evidence right here. This is who told me who's planting the stuff, because it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Prove me wrong, folks. Sorry, my chat was frozen up on this side, so let me read and see what I got. Good morning. Good morning, Sonia. It's nice to see you, Love Bug. The real me too. I don't think I said hi to you. Happy blessed Nana, Gigi for life. Good morning. Ashley, it's nice to see you. So yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's when I realized, what we were dealing with here. There's like, this was the telltale. This right here, this information right here was what finally sealed the deal for me. Because I had speculated that it was Malehya or Daniel, we speculated about that, but we didn't really have any concrete evidence that it was one of them. This, to me, is the concrete evidence that it was one of them, because only the person that packed this bag, which it could have been Daniel or it could have been Malehya, whoever packed this bag, I believe is the one that planted the pink blanket. So if Daniel's the one that packed this bag and threw it out in the garbage, it was him that planted the pink blanket. If it was Malehya, well, it was her that planted the pink blanket. So we need to find out who packed the garbage bag. Who put the garbage out to the road. That's who we need to find. That's who we need to find, folks. We need to find out who was the one that put that out there. So, as you guys can see, again, that's a 42-gallon construction bag. I don't know who sponsored that construction bag. It was one of you guys, because it was 2 years ago when we had the hurricane, and the hurricane knocked everything down. We had to get some supplies here, and you guys sponsored some of those supplies. And some of those supplies were the construction bags for the debris outside. So I thank you for that. So whoever bought the construction bags, you guys know who you were. Whoever purchased the construction bags, you just sponsored that demonstration. So thank you so much. That's wrong one. I like this. That was a good demonstration, too. It's a little scary, though. It's a little scary because I've never done that demonstration before with a 42-gallon garbage bag, but now it makes me convinced that we are more susceptible to going to a landfill than any other thing. My body fit in that bag, folks. Okay? Now, I'm just letting you know that my body fit in that 42-gallon construction bag. My body. It came up, literally all they would have had to do was squinch me down. Yeah, right? They could have fit me in there and scrunched my knees down. If I would have scrunched down in that bag, that whole bag would have taken my body. That's pretty freaking scary. Now, I want to remind you guys, I'm 5'1" and about 155 to 160 pounds, depending on what day of the month it is, okay? So that is my height, body, and weight, okay? I'm not a small chick. Okay, I'm short, but I'm stacked. I got some weight on me. I could fit in this garbage bag, folks. I could fit in this garbage bag. That's. I'm sorry. For me, just a little insane. Just a little insane. I'm gonna have to go back and clip that demonstration. Oh, good gracious. Thank you, Kelly. Oh, became the newest member of this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. Thank you. I appreciate that. Wow, just craziness, in my opinion, just pure craziness here. So I think that really told us a lot. And not only that, but I truly, in my heart of hearts, I believe it was Daniel that planted this stuff. I believe it was Daniel was the only one moving about. He was the only one moving about that morning. I told you guys, I pointed that out. Like, Malehya's staying home. Malehya's not running around. Malehya's not doing all of this. She's staying at the house until she fled, and then she fled and left with Meadow, and then she tried to leave the reservation, it sounds like, or go to the reservation with Meadow. And so they ended up calling the Department of Children and Family Services and having Meadow taken from Malehya. And Daniel describes it as her being on the run with her daughter. I don't know if that's, again, they're throwing a lot of stuff back and forth to one another. And I think it's specifically because they know what happened, and they're trying to subtly throw, like, Daniel didn't just run the bus over her. He subtly did it. He's been subtly doing it from the very beginning, and I've been trying to point that out even in his commentary. Like, I'm the one sitting here fighting for these kids, and all this other stuff, and just really trying to make Malehya look bad. Now, Malehya does look bad. I mean, she's a mom that took off literally on May 3rd, and has never returned to where her children disappeared from, not once. That's pretty freaking telling to me. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not sure about you, but to me, that's pretty stinking telling when a mom doesn't even go back to where her children disappeared from. Because moms just, moms don't typically accept that their children are deceased until they see their children deceased. I'm sorry, I've known, and it's not just mothers, it's parents in general. Typically, they may have a gut feeling that something ain't right and that this isn't going to turn out well. But no matter how bad that gut feeling is gnawing at them, they don't believe it until they see it. Okay? There is not a mother in this world that I have met that doesn't hold on to one semblance of hope if they have not seen their child deceased. All these mothers out there that have missing children, then their guts, they feel that child may not be out there. But they're never going to stop fighting because there's that possibility that they are wrong, and they'll never let themselves accept it until they see their child for themselves. Okay? And for a mother to say, and the reason why I'm going through this is because somebody might come up and say, well, maybe the mother has just acknowledged that her children are deceased and it's just too painful to go back. That would be an argument when the children were found, right? If the children were found and she chose never to go back to that property again, I think everybody in a million years would understand why a mother would never want to go back on a property where her children were found deceased. Anybody can understand that. But to wake up one day and your children just disappear and then you leave the next day and never return, well, I'm not sure about you, but for somebody like me, that doesn't even resonate to being a human. Okay, I don't know of any mother that would do that. Well, we know of at least one, Malehya Brooks-Murray. I think I spelled her name wrong too. I think it's Yeha. Yeah. I can't remember. I think I spelled her name wrong on the title. I'll have to go back and fix it. I think I spelled it wrong. But at the end of the day, we have a situation where the mom's gone. And the stepdad is forced. He's kind of forced. Oh, thank you, Pat. Pat gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. It looks like it went to Jessica. Jessica, congratulations. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. We definitely appreciate you. Thank you so much to the both of you. It's official. It's official. Well, welcome aboard, Jessica. We appreciate you. What two things happened in her kids weren't coming back? She had them removed. She knows where I really do believe that something happened. I think they were partying, folks. I think they were partying. I think the kids may have gotten into something. I just don't know. They were addicts and they didn't have a whole lot of money. It doesn't seem like, maybe that's an aspect or an angle too, but I don't think that that's really probable in all fairness, I'm not sure. Hey, Stacy, it's nice to see you. Libby, if I didn't say good morning to you, good morning to you. I think I did, but I can't be 100%, so I want to make sure I said hi. What about the last post that made no sense, but I think you got what I meant? I feel like the kids got into... That's kind of where I feel like... I mean, for both of them to leave, I mean... We had both of the children, according to the RCMP, they were together. So that we have them identified as being together that week. So whatever happened had to have happened within that week. We didn't see it, but RCMP is confirming that these children, both of these children, Jack and Lily, were observed with their parents at the Dollarama in New Glasgow. So we have to kind of believe that to be true, that the children were alive, happy and healthy, at least at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on May 1st. So we have at least a third-party eyewitness of these children being alive at a certain time. So we know that they were okay at that certain time. I've always believed, because most of the cases happen at night and they're reported the next morning, just kind of like, Sebastian Rogers. I truly believe he was unalived and removed from that house, on the 25th or in the early morning hours of the 26th, prior to hours before that child was reported missing. Is this another example of that? We do have somebody, but, again, the person that made the statements, it's hard to acknowledge what they've said. One, they took almost a month to come forward and talk about those, the noises in the woods. But it also sounds like those people are also on drugs, so they're not wanting to be cooperative with law enforcement until they have to. And it doesn't necessarily mean just because they were being uncooperative with law enforcement because they had substances and are on substances, doesn't mean that what they said that they heard, they didn't hear. It is questionable. We have to, put that in the back of our mind that this information may be totally inaccurate. We still can't just fully dismiss it because the people are addicts. We're taking a lot of information from Daniel Martell as well as Malehya, and they're addicts. So if we can take some information from one addict, we can certainly take information from another addict. I don't know if it's been disproven that those things did not happen. Something happened to these children. So I'm tuning into any possibility of hearing noises in the middle of the night during early morning hours, something that could remove children from the home and take them to a distance away. And those noises that neighbor heard is definitely what we would be looking for to identify where the children went or why the children weren't at home. It sounds like somebody in the middle of the night was moving around. And if that is true, again, if that is true, well, it's most likely the mom and the stepfather, because they're the ones giving the lies and setting up all these alibis and planting evidence all around their property to try to say these children disappeared. We've had nonprofit organizations go there and basically tell the world, look, I'm not jiving with the whole children wandered off thing. This is pretty dense out here. No child's walking into this shit. It's basically what they're saying. And it's kind of, hey, Adrian, it's nice to see you, love. It's kind of hard. Hey, Pink, it's nice to see you as well. It's kind of hard to, both can't be true, right? And I think that's the point everybody's starting to wrap their head around in with the Lilly and Jack case, is that you can't say the children wandered off and not find them, right? If they wandered off, they should be found. If they wandered off and lost their life and died, they should be found. Even if it's just remains, they should be found. They should have been easily found. It shouldn't have taken months and months and months to find it. The only thing that takes months and months to find a child is when a child's being hidden. Look at Elijah Vu, for example. Elijah Vu was months before his bones were located. Months. And it was in an area that was searched by law enforcement and searchers multiple times. But he was hidden. He was hidden underneath brush. And that brush obviously skewered the scent and other things that tracking dogs and other people looking for. He was hidden. And so it took a long time. It was just by dumb luck that Elijah Vu was ultimately found, because a hunting dog was out in an area and brought his hunting dogs. and his hunting dogs are the ones that found Elijah Vu and ended the case. It was not tracking dogs. It had nothing to do with law enforcement. It had nothing to do with the searchers out there searching weekly for this child. It was just simply dumb luck. A hunter went out with his dogs. Bada bing, bada boom. We have a baby that's been missing for a while. And do you think these children would be found? Well, it's hard for me to determine that for two reasons, but I will answer your question. It's hard for me to determine that for two reasons. One, because I'm not boots on the ground there. I can't visualize the area for myself. And that's very critical. Even though we've got photos and stuff, those things don't do us justice. I've been doing this for a long time, and I can tell you that trying to cover Summer Wells and trying to show the pitch of that mountain was very difficult on film. It didn't look as steep as it truly was. So even the stuff that we're visualizing and we're reviewing from the videos that are being taken from searches and stuff like that out there don't do that area justice. So that's the first issue that I have. I don't know the true topography of that area, and that would be, and I can't take somebody else's word for it. It'd be something that I would have to personally look at. So I'm missing that. I'm also, missing a lot of information from law enforcement that would help guide this case. But with that being said, do I believe these children would be found? My answer is yes and no. Yes, I believe they could be found. I believe they could be found if law enforcement would start digging, if they would start looking at areas and start digging. I believe those children are underwater or underground. I think that's the reason why they haven't been able to find them. I do not believe they've been removed from the area. So do I believe that these children could be found? Yes, I do. I just don't think that the RCMP, even though it's the Canadian Royal Police, and I know people are probably going to disagree with this statement, but I just don't think they're too fluent in, especially in this area, for this type of case. Okay, I mean, they had to fly in polygraph testers, they had to fly in dogs, they had to fly in everything, just to be able to do their job here. So that tells me right off the top of this that these people are not law enforcement detectives are not seasoned in this area. And that's another problem, and probably why it's taken a little longer to maybe locate these children. I don't know what they're allowed to do in Canada. From my understanding, they have more leeway in Canada than we do here in the United States, because we, the people, rule the United States. The government rules the state of Canada, or the country of Canada. They're more like kings than presidents. We're more like presidents than kings. But again, I don't know how that. I could be wrong about that. That's just my assessment, my assumption of Canada. But because they had to fly so many resources in and they weren't readily available to them, it paints this picture in my mind that they are not prepared and they're ill-equipped for a case such as this. I haven't heard of them flying in, specialists to take over this case. I haven't heard any of that yet. And not that the law enforcement there are it's just, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing when law enforcement, and I just want to put this out there because I know sometimes people get frustrated with it, and it's not to be frustrated. It's just to express some information, but it's not a bad thing that law enforcement is ill-equipped for these type of cases. Okay. I don't want you guys getting all bent out of shape. It's actually a good thing because it shows us that this area doesn't typically have so much crime that they need to have these resources readily available. Okay, so it's a good thing. They have lower crime than what I would anticipate for the area, and so it's not a bad thing that they don't have these. It's actually a good thing. It just shows that there's not a lot of crime, and that's what we like. We don't like areas riddled with crime. But it also has a negative consequence to it as well, right? And that negative consequence is these people aren't well versed in this. And when you're not well versed in child disappearance, this is a very, very special, specific type of category of crime. And if you do not have a specialist involved in this type of crime, then you're doing yourself a disservice in your investigation. And it's my understanding that there may or may not have been some specialists that came in, but at this point, for them to continue to say that this is just a missing person investigation, it is not. And if they truly are running the investigation like that, that is the first problem, okay? And it does show their ignorance and their inability to do this job correctly. If they truly believe that. I believe that's just word salad, what they're telling the public, and they're acting as, they're treating this investigation as a homicide. But if they truly are treating this case just as a missing person, folks, that's the first major problem right there. They have no idea what they're dealing with here. And that would be a true travesty in this case, as many people are fighting. And to hear these things coming from law enforcement really does upset the people. We're going to try to do this again. I don't know how well this will be. It's very low, so you're going to have to turn up your volume. I had to turn up the volume on my live. But we're going to go through this here. It's just very, very low. I do have made sure that all the volume's working this morning, so you shouldn't have problems. It is a low volume. Whoever put this up did not increase the volume on it like I did when I do my videos. And so it's still very low volume. So turn your volume up. I'll turn my volume down over here so I'm not screaming in your ear, so you guys can hear what she is saying in its totality. This is the only interview she gave. I no urgency in this woman's voice, none whatsoever. That is a critical issue for me.
I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I want them home. I want to hold.
Whole instantly called them home, or called the law enforcement. It doesn't sound like anything was instant. I mean, these children, in my opinion, when did they disappear? These parents have no clue. Everything that they're saying to the public, allegedly, they have no clue. They're trying to assume what happened. Like she's even, I don't believe she doesn't know. But let me just put this out here like this. She's acting like she knows these things, yet she's trying to say to the public she doesn't know these things because she wasn't there. So if she wasn't there, she was in her room, she didn't know what happened, how can she speak about these things and tell the public where her children were or what they did? How would she know? She's saying she doesn't know. Well, they snuck out the sliding. How do you know? How do you know somebody didn't sneak in the sliding glass door and snatch them? How do you know they went outside to play? Oh, that's right, because Janie heard them. Another adult that's failed to even poke her head out to see the children. She didn't even say hi to them that morning. That's odd. A grandmother hearing her grandkids out there, she's up drinking coffee, playing on her phone, and she doesn't open her door and say, "Hey kids, how you doing? Did you guys sleep well last night?" Like a normal grandmother. If I was at my grandparents' house, and my grandparents are dead, but if I was at their house and I was up and I was playing outside, my grandfather would poke his head out the door and say, "Hey honey, how you doing? What you doing over there?" What you into over there? Especially since these boys and girls let her chickens out. You're going to tell me that she hears the kids by the chicken coop and doesn't pop her head out to tell them, to remind them, don't let the chickens out? Come on, folks. I mean, this whole entire story, in my opinion, defies logic. Okay? It just defies logic. And I'm just curious as to why. She doesn't know what they're doing that morning. In my opinion, she's out of it. They probably both were. I mean, we got on the Drunk Turkey show, Daniel Martell is saying that, he doesn't know what Malehya was doing, but absolutely knows that Malehya reported the kids as not coming to school at 6:17 and 6:18 in the morning. It's like, okay. And then Daniel's like, well, could she have gotten out of bed and you not know it? And he's like, well, I don't know. Well, when did she report the kids missing? When she had to get out of the bed and check on the kids? I mean, clearly she had to have gotten out of the bed and went into the kid's room and checked on him and saw that Lily still had a cough, no? So again, everything they keep saying defies logic. It defies logic. It defies logic. It defies logic. Why? I don't know why it's defying logic. It just defies logic. All their statements defy logic. None of it makes sense. Daniel's telling people that the children were up and he heard Jack in the kitchen. But when he went into the kitchen, it didn't appear that Jack was ever in the kitchen. That's odd. That's pretty freaking strange and some change there. No? No? So just to get back and to recap on this, we have a situation where we have two children that are missing. Their mother took off the day after that she reported them missing on May 3rd, and she's never been back to this property again. Jack has since turned 5 years old. Nothing from the mother. No statements from the mother. The mother has not made no visual statements to the public. This is the only, what you're looking at here is the only statement we've heard from the mother visibly. She hasn't asked for press conferences. She hasn't done anything to promote her children missing and to promote them being found. She's kept her mouth shut and she fled the scene. That's what this mother did. And I'm still questioning, how much information does Malehya Brooks-Murray know? And how much information does Daniel Martell know? Because to me, they both know something about what happened to Lilly and Jack Sullivan on May 2nd and why they are not here. Law enforcement immediately came out and said that they believe that these children are deceased. They also further stated that they do not believe these children were abducted. They were telling us everything they want to hear. Now, hindsight, they're telling us, oh, by the way, we believe these children just wandered off. I am looking at all of this information, and there is not a possibility in my mind that they are truly treating this case as a missing person. I truly believe they're treating this case as a homicide investigation. I don't care what law enforcement says, but look at how little they've provided to us. If this was simply a missing person case, they would have everything on the table, and they don't. They're keeping everything close to the chest. That's the telltale sign. Those are the differences between a missing person case and a homicide case. How fluid the information's coming from law enforcement, and the spigot has been shut off. That's not indicative of a missing child or missing person investigation. That's indicative of a homicide investigation or a death investigation. So that's where I'm staying and situated on this particular matter. And it's going to be where I stay and situated on this particular matter until new information comes available. We have no new information related to this case that this would be anything other than foul play. So now law enforcement's not saying that, but they're presenting that, okay? All of the facts that they have presented to the public identify foul play, not a child wandering off or children wandering off. Okay, so then we go over to...
So this is the Patty...
Challenging. We're going to go to challenging the statements of Malehya. Remember, we just heard Malehya Brooks-Murray say that the children walked out of the door and the door makes zero noise. And so this has been a contentious spot on this case up until this news reporter challenged that and met with Janie McKenzie and had her open or allow her to open and close the door. So let's watch this. And you will hear this door is not as silent as they try to make it out to be. And it has a very specific sound to it that any parent should have noticed or heard that these children went out the door. And I'm going to play it for you now.
So this is the patio.
This is the patio door
that Jack and Lily would have.
that Jack and Lily came out of.
You guys hear that? That clicking?
So it's.
Do you guys hear that clicking? Any parent that has children, now I don't know about you, but it sounded like my mama had supersonic ears, okay, when we were growing up. I don't know how she had supersonic ears, but apparently when you have children, you have supersonic ears, okay? I don't know why, but as a mom in your own home, you know noises, especially a home that you have been in for a very, very long time. And so we can ascertain just by the statements made that Janie has been here. This is her property. She allowed her son and his girlfriend move into her trailer, and she took the dilapidated RV to live in so she could have some peace and quiet from the very loud children. Okay? Mommy's been in this trailer for a significant amount of time. Mommy knows that when this door opens and closes, it has a distinct 3 clicking sound at the end. It has a 3 clicking sound, a 3 click, 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 click. There's no way. You could probably feel that vibration on the floor, okay? This is a rinky-dink trailer. It's falling apart. They have holes in the flipping floor that they've covered up with plastic. I mean, this is not the most accommodating or lovely home to be raising children in. You get it? So a mom that's down the hall can definitely, I don't care if there was a little bit of TV on, but if this house had no TVs running, there's no possibility them not being able to hear this very, very distinctive clicking sound of the door, the sliding glass door closing. And furthermore, Daniel also acknowledged that the kids have a hard time closing the door fully. It's very heavy for them. They have to use both hands to get it closed. So you're telling me these kids, these very loud kids, quietly left the home, was able to open a door that makes noise and close it without making noise, and was able to close it without grunting or forcing it slamming shut. I call bullshit. Okay? I'm going to continue. That does not make logical sense to me.
Bullshit level, DEFCON 5.
I'm just saying. Somebody is...
Liar, pants on fire.
Something is not right here. It defies logic. It doesn't make sense. Okay? The story doesn't make sense. So let's listen to this again. You hear that?
So it's the morning.
It's a very specific sound that is being made here. Hey, I Spy. I really think the kids were playing, got hungry, got into Daniel's drug stash. OD, Daniel hid the bodies. They're afraid of losing the baby and going to jail. It's possible, but now they've lost the baby and potentially looking at jail. They were hungover, fast asleep. Somebody from wherever part of the family, whoever family came in quietly and took. It's possible, but I don't believe that's the case. I think the evidence. I still think that they would have been able to see a person because there are cameras. There's this area. Let's go MapQuest or Google Map. Garlock. I can't spell Garlock. Let me do Lansdowne. Okay, there's Garlock Road right there. So we're in the spot here. You know, as you guys can see on the map, Let me move this over. Oops, got the wrong thing. Let me move this over just a little bit. As you guys can see, you see this road right here? That is like basically the road in and the road out. And then they're off of Garlock Road, which I believe that is Is that Garlock? Hold on. I think that is Garlock. That's Lansdowne Road right here. So this is Garlock Road. This is Garlock Road right here. This is what they're on. It's one main road that goes in and out. So see, we're going to keep going. As you see, you got one way in and one way out. You got, I think this might be a stream. It doesn't look like a road. It might be a string, Salt Springs right here that goes through, but you can see the roads, right? And so down here is where it kind of splits into this Y. But this whole stretch from New Glasgow all the way down, it's one way in and one way out. You guys see that? There's not a whole lot there. It's one way in and one way out. And there's cameras. So I truly believe if somebody did go and abduct these kids, the vehicle's on somebody's camera. And they would have that camera. It's my understanding they don't see anything passing through this time. Very limited vehicles and a bus. And the bus is what helped identify that pink blanket was planted, because the school bus went by that day and there was no pink blanket. They had the recordings on the bus showed no pink blanket. They went by the next day. They could see the pink blanket plain as day. So it was clear of when the pink blanket was stashed, what specific day or evening it was stashed in that spot on. And it's just it's really looking like mom or dad or stepdad or both have knowledge of what happened, because I feel that they would have tracked down all the vehicles that they saw passing. Again, this is not a very, very wildly used path, okay? This is kind of a cut through going from one place to the other. Not a whole lot of people use this. As you guys see, you see this main road up here. It seems like this would be a larger road right here, that if anybody was going to this area would probably use this road or even this road over here. But this is where we've got the kids, or where we got the house on. It's like 1407 Garlock Road or something like that. So it's right here in this kind of area. And as you can see, there's nothing really around. So you're talking about, in order for this abduction to happen, you're talking about a lot of variables lining up perfectly, coincidentally. Like the kids would have had to have been outside while a creep just so happens to be driving down Garlock Road in the middle of nowhere, right? All these variables would have to line up for it to be a stranger. And that's really what is driving my channel on this case, is that there's no possibility in my mind for it to be a stranger, because of all of these variables. These unknown variables would have to coincidentally just line up, and the probability of that happen is like 1 in a million. It does happen, believe it or not. There are some cases where those factors just line up perfectly, and you have a creep driving by right at the perfect opportune time, and those coincidences just line up perfectly. It has happened, but very it's like gambling. It very rarely happens, right? You're very rarely a $1 million winner, right? It's very few and far between, but you do know people that have won $1 million, right? So it does line up like that. So I just want to bring it out. It could be an abduction. I don't believe it's an abduction because of all the other things that have transpired since these children were called in, predominantly the pink blanket, okay? I didn't believe that the boot print, I believe the boot print originally was planted, and that was my assessment early on. But when we heard about this pink blanket and we realized this pink blanket truly was planted, all bets are off. Somebody in that house did something to those children. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it in my mind. Okay, I know that somebody in that house, in their house, where those children live, are responsible for why we are here. And it's because of all of these variables that happen to point directly to that home. Everything goes back to that home, much like Summer Wells. Everything went back to her, to that mountain. Everything went back to that mountain. We knew she went back to that mountain. Everything happened when she got back to that mountain. And I believe everything happened to these kids when they got back to get their property on Gerlach Road. So that's just my opinion. We've got a few...
the cadaver dogs.
We've got a few interviews. This is Janie's interview. We will go over Janie's interview. Not today. I just wanted you guys to hear the sliding glass door for today's segment. We will go back over that. We are planning on going over the assessment of deception detective. I'm just giving that a couple days to kind of get viewership on there. So if you guys haven't been to the Deception Detective, please get over there and review his assessment of the interview with Daniel from the Drunk Turkey Show. I think it was really good, and I'd like to discuss certain aspects of that on this show, but I want you guys to watch the entire thing. It's about 19 or 20 minutes. So please get over to the Deception Detective, watch that so we can have a good, thorough discussion. It just makes it a lot easier for me if you guys watch the stuff beforehand.
The human remains dogs were here recently. Walk me through that day. You knew that they were coming, but you didn't know when.
I actually got back from my visit with my daughter, and I come home.
Thank you, Gigi.
The dogs were already, on scene, and
Gigi gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. It looks like Amelia got the gift. Well, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. Thank you, Sonia. Sonia's got the channel right here. Click on that. Make sure you sub up to him. I learn a lot from the Deception Detective. He's a great tool to have in helping identify certain things in these cases. I don't agree with him 100% of the time. I'm sure, just like everybody else, you guys don't agree with me 100% of the time. So I just really appreciate his work, and it's a tool that we can use and lean upon to help identify certain things. He's a professional in that field, and I value him, and I value his opinion. So we will always go there and listen. So if you haven't subbed up, please sub up. Go over, check that out. And we'll be discussing, I think I said Wednesday. We might wait until Friday. It depends on, the Thanksgiving schedule. I'm going to try my hardest to make sure you guys have entertainment through the holiday. But, I'm going to be on time constraints as well. So we'll try to do our best.
They were there for about an hour before I got there. I didn't know the exact day when the arrival was going to happen. It was even a surprise to me, but at the end of the day, everything's ruled out there, and I hope this is speculation, turns elsewhere.
So you arrive home after visiting with your daughter. They're there, and then what happens?
They're there, and then, I walk up, greet them, and meet them for the very first time. It's like, can I come close to you and the dogs? And he said, oh yeah. And then, investigators were there, or one investigator, and, had a conversation with him, and they said, look, yeah, we're going to do the property. I said, perfect, let's do every square inch. And that's when it began with, where do you think we should search? And in my mind, these guys are the best. They're supposed to be the best. They should have mapped the terrain, looked at satellite imagery, and found every single speck on that property that needed to be.
So he's upset. Let me just put this back into perspective. He's upset that they are asking him where to search. This is a very well-known tactic that we've heard many people over the cases we've done. Well, it's not uncommon for law enforcement to reach out and ask questions like that to potential suspects, because you never know. Suspects may say, they may actually give it away. They may, tell them hypothetically, locations and stuff like that. So for him to say, he can't believe that they didn't map this out and didn't map that out before they came out, it seems to me like he had disdain for that, for them asking him, where do they think they should look? And he thinks that they should have been prepared when they came out. Well, it's a needle in a haystack unless people talk to the people that are there of where are these kids. I mean, think about it. Daniel and his family would know where the kids would wander off to, where their secret places are, where they like to play, Indians and robbers or whatever, cops and robbers or whatnot. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? There's games that kids like to play out in the woods. Where would those be? And he's upset that they asked him. It just seemed a little weird, especially in light of him being asked, do you think that law enforcement is doing a great job? And he's ecstatic with their ability. But here he's basically blaming them for something. It's just odd.
Research. And they should have had, better coordination with
Oh, thank you. Let them
reviewing
66.
those maps and people involved from the start with search and rescue to determine areas they need to search.
What happened? Did you tell them where to search or advise them, or what did you say?
I gave them like any indication that, soft grounded areas like the marsh, the ponds, anything like that. But I said, you're welcome to do it anywhere. They did inside the house, they did, everywhere, vehicles, they did everything they could in the amount of time that they were given to do it.
So what did they search when they came inside? How did that go?
Well, when they took the dogs, inside the house, they ran from one side of the house to the other, waiting for the dogs to, bark or pick up a scent, and nothing was located. Same with all the property. There was no indication of anything.
So, what could that mean? If the dogs didn't hit on anything in the house, and they took the cadaver dogs in, it's my understanding that if the kids would have lost their life in the house, the scent of them would be found somewhere. Some type of scent, as faint as it might be. But again, bringing these dogs in a month later, you got environmental changes. You've got it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. I don't think that if there was, say, the kids did lose their life in the house, would that scent still be relevant or prevalent or present a month later? If they're not, being left there, would it be present a month later? I don't know if it would be. I just don't know. No scent in the house. No, it doesn't sound like it. One of the channels I watched was the turkey thing. He did an interview with Daniel. Yes, that's what we're, yep, Envision. He's done many Daniel had said when the RCMP came to collect the children's belongings. What belongings? All of their belongings in Malehya have wanted. Just a couple of pictures, stuffed animals, their birth certificates. Did they move all of it? Didn't the RCMP come over there and move all the kids' stuff, pack up all the kids' stuff and move it to Malehya? Malehya didn't want to, I don't know. But yeah, it seems, everything in this case just really does point to one or both of the parental figures in these children's lives. Just the way they are acting. I'm just shocked that Malehya just refuses to go back. It almost, you know what it almost makes me feel like? It almost makes me feel like she knows that Daniel did something to these kids. And, I'm sorry. It gives me that, I want to be angry with Malehya because Malehya put her kids in this situation. It sounds like she came from a good family. They had some money. They lived a decent life, maybe a boring life. It sounded like she was chomping at the bit to get out and to explore life. But she met Cody. She settled down with Cody. They had children together. And then she leaves her children, or Cody, and Cody's like, screw it, I don't want anything to do with you or the kids. I'm not going to fight for you or play these games with the kids. And he just basically walked away. And his mother, the kids' grandparents, Belinda, what is Belinda's last name? Belinda, her last name is leaving my brain at the moment, but Gray, Belinda Gray. And, she's been trying to have a relationship with her grandchildren, even despite her son's unwillingness to have a relationship with them, until Malehya Brooks-Murray cut off that relationship. And the next time she gets a call is when the kids are missing, and she's there searching for the kids. And her comment was, as soon as she saw Malehya take off, she knew there was no point in searching anymore. And she stopped. And it's sad. And she's been living with that grief of never being able to see her grandchildren that she loved ever again. When this first happened, the only thing I could think of was psych op. But with everything going on in the world today, that's what I thought. Yeah, psych ops are definitely known. She wanted to leave him righteous, say she hid them from him and others. Yeah, but then she would have found, she's not going to have Meadow. If that was the case, then it was to keep everybody together. Well, Meadow's not even in her care right now. So I would think that she would be willing to say, hey, my kids are here and I just want my family back. I was running from him. At this point, they would have come up with those things, and still nothing. Who's taking care of the children? Everybody's been contacted that needs to be contacted. Something more is going on here. I love to think that it was something, that these kids are being hidden from others. We always love to think that, but the reality of that just doesn't bode in 99.9% of the cases. Their parents truly did kill them. And it's a sad reality. Favorite creator in the Crazy Coffee Club. Love it. Thank you. 18 months. Good gracious. Thank you for your support. Absolutely. Is it possible that he is a closeted? There's been a lot of people that believe that. Okay. I don't know the guy. But I know manipulators, and he reminds me of a manipulator. That's just my personal opinion of it. That's my personal assessment of it. But he's just, in my opinion, a manipulator. Hey, Kay, it's nice to see you. How about the one that went missing 12 years ago? Was that a runaway issue? Not up to speed. I haven't looked into that, Kay. I did see it because I know they're kind of commingling those two together. I think they do that sometimes to bring attention to cases that aren't getting a lot of attention. And I've seen that before. So I think that that's what they're doing here with this other guy that's 12 years old. I did look into it, but I don't cover Canadian cases. Okay, this is one of those very few and it's just because these kids were missing, and we jumped in with all hands on deck stuff, and we thought these kids were going to be found. I had no idea that we would be here all these months later when we took, and I remember even saying, I don't take Canadian cases. Okay. I know nothing about Canadian law. I know nothing about their processes. I would assume that they would be the same as the United States, but that's a horrible assumption to make. They act a lot differently than we do. They release different information than the United States would release. It's just, I feel like a fish out of water in Canada when I'm covering their cases. So I don't cover their cases, but the gentleman that's been missing for 12 years, he seemed to be a little older. He doesn't. I don't think that would be a runaway case for him because he looked like an adult. I don't know. Let me just look and see who he is, but he looked like an adult. 12. I thought he looked older. Where is the 12-year-old case? The 12-year-old case wasn't a 12-year-old person. It was a 12-year-old case. And I don't remember which one it is. Yeah. I don't see it. I know we had it. I came across my desk. I know we have it. But I don't remember. Let's see if I can just do relevance in the past week. And I'm not seeing the case, not the one that I saw. I did see the 12-year-old, I did see the 12-year-old cold case that was associated with this, but it looked like the guy had dark brown hair. He was older. He wasn't a kid. So, but I do see there's another child that's missing. That's also a 12-year-old child that's missing from an area. So I'm confused. But I did see both of those articles come in the last week. But I'm not getting involved in Canada. Missing person. This is the only case that I'm covering in Canada. Okay, I just want to be very clear on that. It's not that I just don't know what I'm doing in Canada. Okay, this has been a very difficult case for me to cover because I've been trying to read and understand their processes there, which are different. I mean, investigative techniques are typically the same. But the rules in which they're allowed to work are different, so it's hard for me to express that or explain that to my audience. I just want these kids found. I think Daniel and Malehya know more, and I don't plan on getting involved in any other Canadian case. It's a case I like to be able to go out and cover the cases from boots on the ground perspective. It's the best way to do it. It gets you more information and gives you an understanding of the cases, which is another reason why I don't do out-of-country cases. I don't ever want to travel out of the country. I don't have a desire to travel out of the country. I don't own a passport. I don't anticipate ever owning a passport. I'm perfectly fine in the United States of America. I'm not a globetrotter. I don't have a desire to be a globetrotter. On my bucket list, I've got 2 places I'd like to be that would require me to have a passport, and that's New Zealand and Ireland and Scotland. Scotland and Ireland are kind of together. I would like to go to those areas before I die. If I don't get to them, I don't get to them. But if I do, it'd be great. But those are the only places that I want to go, and those are for leisure and personal than business. Okay, I'm not covering cases in other countries. I just don't. It's just too difficult for me. So hopefully that helps clarify that. It's not that I don't care about the 12-year-old or the 12-year-old cold case that's out there. I do care about them. It's just it's hard for me to explain to my audience. And one of the things that we do is break down these cases. And if I can't figure out how to break down a case, I'm doing you guys a disservice. I'd prefer you guys go to somebody that's like a crime and shame. She's from Canada. She understands Canadian law. She understands how it works. She can explain all that stuff for the Canadian cases. I'm not a Canadian person. I don't understand it. I don't like covering it. I just feel like a fish out of water. And that's not where I like to be. So just to clarify for you guys.
When they didn't do it once. They took in both dogs. They did the whole thing. They did like up the road. They did the blanket site. They did pipeline where the boot print was found. I mean,
I believe all those things were planted. And I believe this man right here planted those things.
They exhausted every single area within Lansdowne.
Yeah, the pipeline trail right here where we're standing.
Mm-hmm. They did. I mean, they spent every hour they could searching, not planning or anything like that. I mean, they were boots on the ground, just doing whatever they could.
You were mentioning that you had a bit of a tense reaction with one of the dog handlers. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, it was a little bit heartbreaking and saddening to hear what the words that came out of his mouth. And for me, all I was trying to do was ever help. Like that's all I've been doing is cooperating, and to see that and hear that, I mean, it was pretty saddening.
What did he say?
He said your Thursday and all the way leading into Friday morning, there's not enough detail. And I said to him that Thursday was just an ordinary day.
There's not enough detail. You know what that's telling me? That is telling me that their timeline doesn't match. Those words are exactly what law enforcement use here in the States to tell people their timeline ain't working. Their timeline's not working. There's too many holes in your timeline. This is not good. So it tells me right here in this conversation, that law enforcement's looking at these parents. Okay? This is not a missing child investigation like they're trying to make the public believe. This is truly a death or homicide investigation, and we know it has to be because they've already identified that that law enforcement does not believe these children are alive. They believe the children are deceased. They said that at day one. Okay? They had enough wherewithal to tell the public as a statement of fact that these children most likely are deceased. From day one. They never expected these children to come home alive. Okay? Just want to put that in perspective. That's law enforcement, not Bullhorn Betty. It's law enforcement.
Until I woke up on Friday morning. And that's when, like, life changed. There was nothing like life changing on Thursday. It was a normal day. So, therefore, there was nothing detailed that needed to be remembered that day until Friday morning.
So he was mentioning something along the lines of something happened Thursday night,
Yeah.
and your story isn't matching up?
Yeah, well, not just matching, it didn't have enough detail for him, personally. And then that's when I asked him, do you know anything on the case? And he said, not really. I've seen you on the news once. And that kind of alarmed me, or, shocking, because you're having somebody that's trying to get you to admit to something and they don't know any details. So therefore, my Thursday didn't have any details. Your knowledge of the case didn't have any details. So you shouldn't try to force something on me without knowing any of the background.
Did he make any accusations at you?
Yeah, he did. He said that Thursday didn't have enough details and we think you did something to the kids Thursday night. And I asked him, like, what are you talking about? Like, I just ran through whole Thursday and Wednesday with you.
I just realized my microphone was down. See? Do you guys hear that? To me, it sounds like law enforcement isn't buying what they are selling. Okay? That's it. I think, Babes, I think you hitting the nail on the head. He's totally narrating, not explaining. I think that is exactly accurate. That's exactly accurate. So we have a situation here where he's telling us law enforcement ain't buying their nonsense. They like I said, we know that the children were alive. Things typically happen at night. That's what happened with Sebastian Rogers. He was taken out the back door or some door from that house early morning hours to get him out of the house. And law enforcement is sitting here telling Daniel that they believe he took that this all happened the night before, which makes sense because that's typically how it happens. Everybody's partying, everybody's doing things happen in the early morning hours. Oh shit, the oh shit factor comes in, they get the people gone. Next thing they know, they got to clean up, they've got to report the people missing, they got to play, they got to do the tap dance. And we saw Malehya do it entirely too calm. And they're trying to be very, very calm because nobody understands. This is the problem that people have. Nobody understands what it's like to lose somebody unless you lose somebody, okay? Your actions, and they're never going to be authentic when they're not authentic, okay? You are not a movie star. No matter how great of a liar you are, you do not know how to act like that. You do not know how to properly act like a grieving parent. People, especially these law enforcement agents, they have had to tell multiple people that their loved ones are gone, that their loved ones are deceased, that this is not new to them. It's a hard job to do. It's hard holding a mom or a dad that you just told your child's not coming home. It is one of the hardest things an officer will ever have to do. And to think that they're looking at these parents, telling them things and looking at them being calm, cool, and collected. It's abnormal, okay? Those are first abnormal signs of abnormal. It's abnormal. People don't act like that, okay? I want you to think. I want you I don't want you rolling down the ground crying because you're not missing your loved one, but I just want you to put yourself, just take yourself and just close your eyes for a second. and look at the one person that you love more than anything in the world, whether it's your grandchild, whether it's your child, whether it's your spouse, whether it's that favorite niece you just love to death. I want you to envision their face in your brain. And I want you to tell me if tomorrow they were not there and nobody knew where they were and they believe that that loved one that you love so much is deceased, what would you do? How would you act? I can tell you very little of you are going to be calm. Very little of you are going to have no emotion. Very little of you are going to be able to talk, convincingly to people without completely breaking down and sobbing. This is a major problem that I see with these parents, almost one of the key factors. It can't be considered the full key factors, but one of the key factors that I look at when I look at parents, because I know emotion is uncontrollable and inconsolable. That means that whenever something happens, you have no control over your body, okay? When you're told that your child has been murdered, you have no control over your reaction. You don't know what your reaction is going to be, but I can tell you that it's going to be a very horrible reaction. You're not going to be like, oh, okay. And when did this happen? How did this happen? Okay. All right. Thank you, officer. I really appreciate you coming by my house and letting me know. Okay. That has never happened I have ever seen in my life. Okay. It doesn't work like that. It is the hardest thing because you watch a parent just die in front of you. Like just literally heartbroken, you just watch them literally be hollowed out in front of you. Okay. It is the most agonizing thing a human can watch. Okay. Because you can't help. There's nothing you can do. You can't help them. You can't stop the pain. You can't do shit for them except just sit there and listen to their pain and just break with them. That's the reality of it. So when we come across these cases where you're hearing that law enforcement is telling these parents that their children are dead or may have lost their life out in the woods or otherwise, typically you get parents that are literally dropping to their knees, praying to God that it's not true, doing whatever that they can possibly do to put the stuff back together. They're pleading with God. They're willing to give their life up just for a moment with their child. Find my child. They don't care where they are at. They're on their hands and knees. They're begging. They're screaming. They're angry. You get a whole boat of emotions with a parent that you tell their loved one may be deceased. And then when you come after these cases, one after another, Katie, Dawn, Candace, Chris, Malehya, Daniel here. Same behaviors. It just seems very cold, calculated, nonchalant, and doesn't seem to be very urgent or like they really give a crap that their children are missing. Okay? No emotion whatsoever. They either have some major mental illness or they know more than they're saying. Okay? That's all there is to it. They either have major mental illness, all of them, which again, probably would go into bode with why we're in this situation to begin with. No empathy. No empathy or sympathy. No empathy or sympathy. These people are messed up. They're messed up in the cranium. They are absolutely messed up in the cranium.
Like, we just spent the last 20 minutes talking. And there's not enough detail because I thought it was an ordinary day. In the end, like, cadaver dogs were there. They went through.
Even ordinary days, you fill in. Like, I can, if I had to, and I was forced to go back and put together my day exactly what I did minute by minute, in all reality, I could probably put together a pretty damn tight timeline for my day. I really could. Now, there may be a few things that I miss, but if somebody says, well, we're missing 20 minutes here. Oh, well, that's because I was being lazy and decided to sneak off and take a nap. There's something that I really truly believe that we can put together. If we're forced to put together our day, I think we could put together our day. I know I could look at, where my shows are, how many videos. It would remind me exactly what my day was, and I could probably pretty much fluently tell you my day. Now, I can't remember what I did yesterday, but if I was forced to go back to yesterday and figure out what I did yesterday, I would be able to do it, okay? It'd be a little bit of a struggle. None of us remember, vividly everything. We forget a lot of stuff, okay? We're human beings, and we're aging human beings. Let's not forget this, the gray-haired ones of us. The memory's not as good as it once was. I'm just saying. Show some grace to us older folks. Show us some grace. Damn, my phone is messing up when I type. I don't know what. Oh, you might have. There's been some technical issues going on with the YouTube app. I've been seeing some notifications behind the scene on my studio. They give us, if there's problems with YouTube, and I've been hearing that there is some hinky issues with the YouTube phone app. So if you guys are on the YouTube phone app, you might be experiencing some minor technical difficulties, and that would be expected. So I did find that out. But either way. So let's get back to this. Daniel's saying that law enforcement's really kind of saying, there's something not right here. There's something not right here. What say you? And he just keeps saying, it's not him. He didn't do nothing. He just thought it was a normal day. He can't figure out why they're not accepting his timeline.
And the story continues. In conclusion to all this, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. I'm still helping investigators at every turn we could possibly think of. And hopefully we see some kind of resolution soon, or some kind of outcome that's positive.
How's that communication in your relationship with RCMP now, 5 months later, and then given that interaction a few weeks ago?
At this point, I go to them. They don't ever come to me. It's just like I have to contact them, I have to go to them, and it's been like that for a little while now, because I've given them so many leads, and there's only so much I can do. I was told not to pursue any leads, so.
Well, you could take this as one of two things. You can take it as him being nosy and trying to extract information when he calls up there, or you can take it as, him being very concerned about these children, and, law enforcement is not, he's very eager to get law enforcement. But that's, according to what he says to Daniel on Daniel's show or on another interview, he basically says that he's pleased with what law enforcement's doing. So you can't kind of have it both ways, in my opinion. You just can't, but he is.
I'm not the one who's going to be going out there investigating.
Why do you pursue leads? Because you're still out there talking to people and finding out new details.
By pursuing leads, they mean if I have a lead, I don't track it down in person. But yeah, I'm still open to talk to the public. I have no fake accounts. I don't have anything that would be not under my name. I go fully into every comment with my name present. So I have nothing to hide. People are free to message me whenever, and people are free to discuss anything they want with me. Any angle, any perspective that they have, I'm open to it. And I will pass it along to investigators if it's a solid perspective. Every tip matters. All 800 and almost 900 of them matter.
And one thing I notice with all of this, and it's something I notice with a lot of these cases, and it's very simple. It's like, I analyze, and I'm watching him, and I'm listening to everything, and I'm intensely listening. I'm watching him, seeing if he's, if I believe him or not. And I'm so focused on listening to what he's saying and looking at him that I'm failing to realize all he keeps talking about is convincing language that he didn't do it. He has stopped advocating for the kids in its entirety. He doesn't have a photo of the kids anymore that he shows when he gives these interviews. It's all about, him and law enforcement and who's pursuing what, and, nothing that's really helping us identify. He's not showing us maps, where they've searched and where he's not even showing us where he thinks needs to be searched. He's literally doing nothing but talking about himself. Yep. And everything he's going through. And this is a problem for me, because this is what we see in Chris and Katie. This is what we see in Don Wells and Candace Bly. This is what we see in all of these terrible parent cases, where we start seeing them talking more about themselves and trying to convince us that they have nothing to do with this case than just advocating for the missing child. A lot of this public pressure comes because we do the same thing over and over again, and we expect parents to act certain ways if they're innocent, and we expect parents to act certain ways if they're guilty. There's a lot of things that we do, social media, not just Bullhorn Betty, social media genre in totality, collectively.
This is only a test.
Oh, sorry, I hit a button. Sorry, it was my cord. My cord hit a button. I moved it just right, and it hit a button. I don't know why, but it started saying stuff. But at the end of the day, I keep wondering, why they act this way. And it seems like it's just it is self-preservation. I think that's really why they act this way, because they all have the same common practice. None of them know each other. So for them to have the same types of behavior, it has to be an action for a specific cause. And I think the self-preservation hits the nail on the head. Would Daniel acknowledge something more happened? I don't think so. They're right now, they're all sitting tight. They're all happy that law enforcement hasn't found out the secret. We have the same statement from Daniel as we had from Chris Proudfoot when they talk about law enforcement. The people that are truly missing their children, nothing law enforcement does is ever good enough until their child comes home. People that are guilty of crimes, they're completely happy with law enforcement while they're not finding out they're the responsible party for the crime. So they're always very, pleased with law enforcement's work, even though they haven't done anything to bring their child home. It's very weird, because parents that aren't responsible, nothing law enforcement does is correct until that child comes home. You never hear them giving law enforcement, good pats on the back until their child's home. Okay? No good parent. No parent that's involved. No parent ever. They're chewing cops out. They're screaming at them behind the scenes. You guys have no idea what it looks like when parents are losing their children and they believe their child is deceased and law enforcement's taking too long to find their loved one. You have no earthly idea what that looks like from somebody, but I can tell you the parents are not very nice to law enforcement, okay? Law enforcement has to get thick skin when it comes to missing children, because they get their asses chewed slap out by parents. They get cussed out, chewed out, they get screamed at, they get cried on, they get, it's bad. And when you have these calm, cool, collected parents, they're like, yeah, they're doing their best. They're really trying, this is a difficult case, and we're just really super pleased with how that's garbage, because we know parents, okay? Nothing is good enough for parents. Trust me. If they're not finding your kid and they're sitting in your living room, you're screaming at them that they're not out there looking for your child, okay? You're screaming. You're angry. You want somebody to make this make sense. You're not calm, cool, and collective. I've seen too many of them. I have yet to see a parent that's calm, cool, and collective when their child is leaving or missing. They might be okay at first. They might be like trying to convince themselves that this is just, this isn't really happening. This isn't really happening. But when it hits them that it is really happening, they are freaking, they're insane, as you can imagine. You can imagine how insane a parent will get knowing that their child might be gone or deceased. It's something, when it hits. You know it when the light bulb hits. There's no faking it. Okay? And that's what people don't understand, is when you're faking it, you're not faking it right, because you don't know the emotion your body's going to feel. You can think you do, but it'll never come out right, because it's not right. It's not authentic.
Do you find that engaging helps for you?
It doesn't help me mentally, that's for sure, but I still do it. I'm basically desensitized to all judgment at this point. So if anybody has anything, you can just come to me, or just, you can go to Major Crimes. You can go to your local police department. They'll pass along tips, or Crime Stoppers. Because this whole situation has drug on for way too long, and it's absolutely destroying everyone involved.
So what does this tell you now that the cadaver dogs were in, they didn't find anything? Do you think like the part on the woods, do you think that's case closed?
It should be case closed. It should have been case closed from the very start. Because with the amount of resources, the technology, and amount of searchers, and everyone deployed in that first initial search, that was a lot. That was an 8-kilometer radius outwards. And it's just the amount of money and people's time, injuries that were sustained during that. It's just, people should have just opened their eyes to see that we need to look elsewhere. I pointed many fingers, and I think that's where the people should look.
So he's just basically saying, hey, you guys haven't found anything, so you guys need to be looking elsewhere. Quit knocking on our door, okay? Well, statistics tell us that we need to be knocking on your door. Just because you hide a body, and that's what people don't understand that deal with these kids for the first time. Like they're acting like this is our first rodeo, that we have no idea what we're doing, that we should be looking elsewhere. Statistics tell us that he or his partner, Malehya, are most likely responsible for this. 99.9% probability that they are responsible for this. Okay? I want to repeat that. The statistics tell us that Malehya and or Daniel Martell are 99.9% likely to be responsible for this disappearance. There is only a 0.1% chance. A 0.1% chance. Let me repeat that again. There is only a 0.1% chance that these children were abducted by somebody other than their family. 0.1% chance. Very, very low. Very, very low. 1/1000th of a percent that these children were abducted from somebody other than their mommy or significant other. Okay? So that's why we're looking here. This was a great interview with Daniel Martell because it really it gives us insight. In my opinion, he 0.0001 millionth. Probably, Mama. Probably. It's so low. It is so low that nobody's believing that Daniel or Malehya doesn't know or have. I mean, the mom left. When have we ever had a mom? Like the only other mother we had flee the area was Katie Proudfoot, right? When she threw a blanket and some dog food out there for her son while she went off to Mississippi with her husband, the one that gave her the ultimatum, your son or me, and all of a sudden he disappeared. Her significant other doesn't want to come home anymore. Then all of a sudden her son disappears and now her husband's home. Huh. Sounds a little hinky to me, especially after the ultimatum that piece of crap gave her. So, it's just, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Obviously, Daniel and Malehya were having some significant familial problems inside that home. We're now very acutely aware of the problems that went on inside that home. Clearly, there were problems. Even Janie said, if she just wanted to leave, she could have left. I would have stood up to my son and let her leave. Most parents don't have to say that about their children if their children aren't overbearing or controlling. Usually they say something like, what the hell is she talking? My son would never stop her from leaving. If she wanted to leave, she could walk out the door. He's not going to run after her and stop her. He may want her to stay, but he ain't going to keep her here. That's what a normal parent would say, not like, I'm going to stand up to my son for her if she really wanted to leave. Well, obviously you've got a violent son if you have to stand up to him, okay? I don't say that about my sisters. I don't say that about my family. Like, if they wanted to leave, I'm going to make sure that they can leave. I'd be like, well, my sister would never force you to stay. If you want to go, kick rocks. Bye, boo-boo. Right? Bye. You don't hear me saying, oh, well, if she does that again, let me know. I'll stick up for her. I'll get you out of that house. I'll make sure you can leave. I would open the door, right? So it just doesn't, obviously there really are serious problems going on in this house, and there's real, Daniel was obviously very, very controlling. I heard Daniel got a new girlfriend. I heard the new girlfriend was only his new girlfriend for a fishing expedition into his life. I don't know what girl this is. If you know who it is, please let me know so I can trash her life. We don't do that. We don't use our hoo-hoo to do this stuff. That's kind of trashy. Actually, it's low class. It's ghetto. Okay? It's ghetto. We don't go fishing in other people's ponds, and we don't use our bodies to get ahead. Okay? We're real women over here on this channel, and sometimes a little public shaming goes a long way to promiscuous little girls. So if you're that promiscuous little girls, keep those legs closed. Just saying, you don't need Bullhorn Betty talking about your sex life on my show, but I will be happy to do it. Okay, you put it out there like that, I'll put it down just like that too, boo-boo. So just remember, everything you do, somebody is watching. There has been way too much bought and paid for distractions in these cases. Yes. Because he got freaking ho-ho-hos wanting to be their 15 minutes of fame. Sorry. My sticky button, my sticky laughy button. I just want to remind everybody, if you seriously have to go and weasel your way into some potentially homicidal maniac's life, what are you thinking? Okay, we've learned that Daniel Martell had a new girlfriend. This new girlfriend, from what I'm hearing on the backside of this case, was there for some information. You guys know how I feel about that, as I was just telling you guys. Keep the legs closed, ladies. Keep the legs closed. But somebody had brought up that there's been too much being bought and paid for in these cases, and I couldn't agree more. Because there's trashy channels on here that are made up of people that are on substances, that like to hurt their own children. They're called hate channels. They're not over here in the true crime. They're on YouTube. They're on TikTok. These hate channels wreak havoc in these real life world cases. All for 15 minutes of fame. They're willing to go sleep with some random guy they don't know, to act like they're his girlfriend so they can get into his phone. That does not fly. That just makes you look like a ho-ho-ho. And we're going to debut the ho-ho-hos on the Bullhorn Betty Show. And, oh no, I missed my button. Hold on, gotta do it. There it is. Don't be a ho-ho-ho. I know it's Christmas time. I get it.
All I want for Christmas is my two front teeth, my two front teeth, my two front teeth. All I want for Christmas is my two front teeth.
Not a ho-ho-ho-ho-ho. No. Okay, I'm done. That was fun.
Not here.
Not here. Not in the woods. The fingers have been pointed. Let's start taking a look.
What's going through your mind as you see their picture every day still?
It's just heartbreaking to know that 5 months have passed and school started, the summer ended. Like, this should be a chance for kids to be interacting and doing kid things, enjoying their lives as kids. You know, like, it's not just all the kids that miss them from school and community, and, you know,
what about him missing them?
Whole country.
He doesn't seem like he misses them.
Know they're missing. It's just like, I have kids too that know that they're missing too, and like, that's heartbreaking for them. Like, Meadow doesn't understand, but one day she will. and she knows that Dad spoke up for Jack and Lily.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Cupcake. Whatever you say, whatever you say. So let's listen to what Malehya has to say. Now, Malehya doesn't get Mommy of the Year award from Bullhorn Betty by any stretch of the imagination. She just doesn't. She doesn't deserve Mommy of the Year award. She took off those beautiful children she's holding behind her. She gave birth to. And for whatever reason, she just can't seem. There's her children right there. This is Lily, as you can see her beautiful little face, and this is Jack. And she looked like a very happy mom. What happened? I'd like to know what in the world happened to Malehya Brooks-Murray for this to be the outcome of these beautiful children. I just want to know. I want to understand what happened here, you know? But for me to believe that these children were abducted, I don't. I've been here long enough. I don't believe it because it could it be in any other place? Yes. Just like in any other place, Summer Wells could have been abducted, but not from that mountain. Okay? There was nobody going through this area at that time. Who would have taken these children? Who? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So this is what Malehya wrote. Now, again, this just came out October 13th. Her children have been missing since May. We haven't heard nothing from her except from Cheryl when she posted a picture of this woman being out at a freaking beach, which made everybody just start fuming. You can't look for your children, but you can go to a freaking beach. It was frustrating. We never heard anything. Malehya literally took all the children. I recorded her channel before, or her Facebook page, before she took her Facebook page down, and that was already after she had modified it, but I knew she modified it once. She was going to modify it again. She's not impartial to doing that, so I went ahead and recorded and screenshot everything that was still left on there. She had already removed Daniel as her partner. She had already removed any photos that Daniel had of these kids, and since then she has removed every freaking photo of these kids except like one or two. This woman is disgusting to me. Okay, she's done nothing for her children except shut her mouth, run away, and not fight. She is not a mother. She is an immoral piece of shit. And I'm going to say that out loud. Malehya, I hope you're watching. No mother does this to their children. You're a freaking disgrace to mothers all over this world. I'm not even going to say this country because you're not from my country, thank God. If you were from my country, you would be sitting in jail right now. If not for the RCMP. As a mother, I love my children more than life itself and feel so heartbroken not being able to hold my two children, Lily and Jack, kiss them, breathe in their scent, and tuck them into bed, dress them, wake them up with their sweet smiling faces. Well, that morning, it didn't seem like she really cared about those sweet smiling faces. The longing I have for them to come home back to me is a greater feeling than I could ever imagine feeling or putting into words how I feel. There is not one single day, minute, or second that goes by that I'm not thinking about my children. Who gives a crap about you thinking about them? What are you actually doing to find them? Zero. This woman has done shit to find her kids. She ran away. That's what she's done to find her kids. She's utilized substances and alcohol. That's what she's done to find her kids. She's done absolutely nothing but make herself feel better in all of her weakness. She's a shitty mom. She did a crappy thing to her children, and she's still lying to this day. Anyways, Jay walk into the store, and all I see is things they love that I want to get for them when they come home. The candy that they like, the clothes they wear, the toys they love. All I see is them. Yeah, probably haunting you in your dreams, eh? Sounds like it. I just so desperately want them home, safe and sound, back in my arms. Sounds like a woman that is very regretful. I'm feeling a lot of regret. Desperate and want them home, safe and sound, back in my arms where I will never let them go. I truly am traumatized not being able to hear the sweet sounds of their voice, their laugh, when they would sing Gabby Doll House song that now only makes me cry when I hear it because all I hear is Lily and Jack singing along. Not being able to breathe in their scent when I embrace them tight. I don't want these moments to be memories. I want my babies home. My Lily Mae and Jackie. The pure pain I suffer of just not knowing where they are has impacted my life and M and my family. I guess they're talking about Meadow and my family in the most devastating ways. Life feels extremely hard to keep going. With no answers, it is pure lostness. Like I can no longer feel at home anymore. No matter how lost I feel, I have not given up hope that my children will be returned to me, but she ain't doing shit to find them, safe and sound. I have all the faith and hope I will see them again, but still not doing anything to find them. She is not even aware. This is the only thing that she's done outside of one interview and this statement here. This is it. This is it. Please, anyone with information, no matter how small, please come forward. Please do not be afraid to use your voice to help bring home Lily and Jack. Even the smallest details are crucial. I'm incredibly grateful and thankful for all the ongoing efforts from the RCMP, Major Crimes, Search and Rescue. Please bring me home. The RCMP Major Crimes and Please Bring Me Home will continue to investigate, and they need your help. You can share tips anonymously at bringmehome.com. I will never stop searching for my children. She never started searching for her children, but she says she'll never stop searching for her children until they are found and brought home safe and sound. Someone somewhere knows something, so please bring my babies home. Well, maybe if she just opened her mouth, came before a thing, and answered some real questions like normal mothers that are missing their children would do instead of hiding like a coward, like she's got something to hide, maybe we would be a little more gracious to her, but we are not, because mothers that sit there and run away and hide when their children are missing are despicable and deplorable. You guys are worse. I don't even know what to call you. Monsters. I think that's the best thing to call you. A mother that fails to be there for their child in their weakest moment is a monster. This woman is a monster. No different than Chris Proudfoot. No different than Katie Proudfoot. No different than Adam Montgomery. No different. I'm not going to say she's any different. Because at the end of the day, she's gone. Momsters. There it is. Momsters. Perfect. Where is Malehya? Seems so easy she can write a letter, but she can't get off her ass to go look for her kids. Sounds like I'm repeating the same record I said about Katie for the last 2 years. Nothing from this lady. Nothing. Malehya Brooks-Murray needs to come forward. She needs to tell everything she knows. If it was her or Daniel, they need to come clean. They need to bring these children home, and we need to put them to rest, no matter what the consequences are. Become a woman that you failed to be with your own damn children. And step up to the plate and tell the truth, no matter how scary it is. Show you actually give a crap. I don't anticipate that being the case because Malehya Brooks-Murray is a garbage mother. And to be honest with you, I hope they keep Meadow away from her for infinity. She doesn't deserve to have Meadow back, ever, until she tells us what happened to Jack and Lily. Ever. And I think in Canada, they can take every kid she has from this point forward, and I hope they do just that. I'm not playing when it comes to these monster moms or monster people in the families that do terrible things to these children. Jack and Lily deserve to live. They deserve to have a good life. And this woman wasted herself away over Daniel Martell, a freaking drug addict. And now her kids are gone, and they're gone forever. And she's hiding. What a piece of garbage. What a piece of garbage. But the good news is we've got Thanksgiving coming up right now, and we all have a lot to be thankful for. Please say a prayer for these young children and all of our missing children as we go into the Thanksgiving holiday. I do pray that these children are found, but I feel like these children have been buried or sunk in water. And because I believe Daniel Martell is involved, and he was a fisherman, he was on the front cover of these fishing magazines, I would believe that they're most likely sunk in water. I really do believe that would have been the easiest way. It would have been the first thing that popped into his head, as opposed to digging and making a, disturbance on the ground. I think he would have been smart enough to know the best way to get rid of them in a short time would be water. It would be water. So if you're out there searching, please search the waters that are deep enough to sink a bag with a concrete block or something like that around it. That's where I believe the children are. It's much where I believe Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is too. So we need to get started and get working on this, but I believe that we need to be looking at bodies of water within 1 mile to 2 miles of their home. Remember, they did have forms of transportation, including ATVs as well as vehicles, SUVs, larger vehicles. So we need to be looking at that. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. And we see who has come running in here. To say it's time for me to go outside, Mommy. It's time for me to go outside. Come over here. Up. There we go. There we go. She wants to say hi. Say hi, everybody. It's my time now. I get my mommy. I know when I get my mommy. I wait until I hear her outro, and then I come a-running. I know what she's doing. I know where she's at. If I hear that outro, I come running. She does too. You guys hear the bell behind me. As soon as I start saying the outro, you guys hear her Yep, you guys know what time it is. She knows what time it is. Ah, little baby. Little baby. Yeah, she got me. She got me stuck like Chuck. Oh, don't give it no lip. You hear her down here? She's starting to whine. All right, guys, that's what we have for Malehya Brooks-Murray as well as Lilly and Jack Sullivan, missing siblings out of Nova Scotia, Canada. We are still searching for them at this time. We're going to continue to search for these beautiful babies until they are brought home. It is time for me to go play ball. She just won. She's been such a good girl all morning, guys. She's just been a good girl all morning. So we'll get some stuff sliced and diced out of this live, and I'll get some stuff put up all over the place. If you noticed, I put a lot of videos up yesterday on our main channel, our Right Side Broadcasting channel, our TikTok channels. We've got stuff going up everywhere. So if you're not following me on all social media platforms, you're doing yourself a disservice. Have a great day, and we will see you in the near future. Where is it?